Otherwise, what should we say about the North Koreans that are fighting for the Russian side? Hundreds of them. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is going to be sworn in as president next Monday. He promised to end the war in Ukraine in one day. Later, he changed that to bringing Ukraine and Russia to the negotiating table. How is that war going, and how and when do you expect it to end?
Yeah, well, the state of play in the war, the Russians have sort of created something of an exaggerated narrative in the fact that they're on offense, and they are, and Ukrainians are on defense, and therefore they're winning. That's not a fact. In a year's time, Andrew, being on offense, the Russians have gone no further than 40 to 50 kilometers in a year with this offensive operation. They have suffered 30,000 casualties a month, except for October when it was 57. They're losing 100 to 150 tanks and armored vehicles a month, and only able to replace 25 to 30 out of their defense industrial base. In 2025, this is going to come to a head. They have serious personnel problems, and as I'm describing here, and you mentioned one of the things that they work very hard to obtain, and that is to get North Korea to come into the war. Now, this is the most significant escalation of the war since the war started. It hasn't been a long-range missile. It hasn't been an airplane. It hasn't been a tank. It's the fact that another nation state with its troops are on the ground fighting on the side of Russia. And the reality is he needs people. And he's going to have to go to a mobilization of some sort in 25. He doesn't want to do it because it has huge political ramifications. Not surprising, the Russian support for the war is eroding, given it's been protracted, and Putin doesn't have much to show for it. What do I think is going to happen here, Andrew, is the General Kellogg is the special envoy for Ukraine, and his objective, given to him by Donald Trump, is to achieve some kind of a ceasefire and a peace agreement. The first place he came was to the ISW, the Institute for the Study of War think tank. We took him through about 3 hours of the state of play in some detail. We discussed some negotiating things, and we also made the point to him, and this is vital, and he understands it, that any ceasefire or peace agreement that Putin makes, he looks at it as just a temporary pause so he can rearm, regroup, reorganize as much as possible, and at a point when it's right for him politically, reattack. His aspirations to take control of Ukraine and topple a government have not changed one iota. Therefore, whatever settlement is made, we must strengthen Ukraine's ability to deter that operation that Putin is going to conduct in the future.